What is it they say? What is it they used to say on Saturday Night Live? Wasn't that special? That was Rosanna Dan. Wasn't that special? That little intro.
Right. That was cool.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the G. Parker Off-Grid, otherwise known as Greg and Bart, talking pinball tournaments, and I'm going to let Bart start off by talking about what's going on right now.
What is going on right now? Yeah, we just started week 8, right?
Yes, sir.
So
on time this week.
On time, which is a no minor feat because Greg, you've been really busy this week. He's got company in town, but he was still able to get things going, so that's cool. And yeah, if you can see in the background behind us, we're playing the Tesla table. Interesting table. Feel like you can play for an hour and 12 minutes and get nearly 1,000 points. It's crazy. But last I checked, I was holding up. I was the foundation holding up everyone else's scores. I was at the bottom of the barrel when I played. But yeah, it's a fun table though. But boy, I sure don't know what I'm doing on it though.
It's absolutely beautiful. I think it's absolutely a beautiful table with great sound. But as Bart mentioned, it is all tables. I guess all tables. We should have Digital Victory do a thing on all tables. That just, if you're listening, Digital Victory, we want you to do a tutorial on all tables. It's a must. But I would say that you have to study all tables, but some of them are obvious. In this table, there is no obvious answer to what you need to do to play. Would you agree?
Yeah. Right. I can't figure out. Somehow you can get it up to that magnetic field up in the top. But I think you got to hit it from that side flipper straight across. But sometimes I feel like I hit it in there and it doesn't. I don't know.
But what do you do when it gets there?
I just hit the flippers like crazy and hope it knocks all the targets down.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just flipping.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is fun, and like you said, it's a beautiful table. The sound and the call-outs are pretty cool. I don't think it's too crazy with it's not rude about draining.
No.
I feel like most of the time when I drain, it's my fault. It's not stealing the ball, but it is a difficult table to figure out. I jumped on there and I saw the scores. And I know Mr. Postile was talking about that he was holding up the bottom before I played. And I looked at his score. I'm like, oh, he's only got 1.3 million. I'll be able to get that easy. Yeah, I didn't. So, yeah, it's kind of cool.
Well, if you all watch my, I'm checking out a little note here I got here. If you check out my video that I did setting it up, typically when I set these up, I record it and then put that up on my channel. The initial play, and at least with FX3 pinball, I haven't experimented with FX. I think I've got to create it. I have to play it, so I have to be the first person to play it, and so I play my game. But I'm trying to get done. Excuses, right? I make excuses. I try to get done so that I can clear that game and everybody else can. But if you watch that, I really did. I thought, wow, I bet I got a pretty good score because I played a while. And then I looked when I was done and I said, man, holy crap, I didn't do worth a damn. So.
Yeah. I did the same thing. I think the first game I played, I just did bad anyway. But I think it was the second game. I played the first ball for quite a while, and I thought, okay, I'm making a run up there. I'm going to be in the mid. I think I had 400,000 after my first ball, and I thought for sure, and then I ended that was the game I ended up just barely clearing 1 million points. So, but don't get discouraged, people. We're all doing poorly. Just keep playing. It is an unlimited tournament this week, so we can just keep plugging away at it. So that's cool.
Well, I've got a son, daughter-in-law, and 2 grandkids in the house right now. And they're ones that they're the side that has not been here when the pinballs have been here. They haven't been here for a while, and I know they were playing the Stranger Things, and they got done, and 60 million. I mean, 500 million is really a high score, on that game. And then they went over to play the Stingray, and the scores are like 20,000, 40,000, 50,000, maybe 100,000 for a high score. And they're like, well, man, I didn't do very good on that, but it seemed like I played longer. And I said, and the virtual pins are all the same. They all score differently. It's all relative to it's all relative to what Champagne Room can do.
Right. That's right. That is right. So, how are we sitting with last week's tournament? How did that turn out?
Well, Bart made the spreadsheet up at the end of the week, as he always does. I want to thank him very much, and you all owe him a big debt for this, because I'll tell you what, he's probably putting a lot more work into this than I am right now. He comes home on Fridays and tallies this all up. So, again, I just can't thank him enough. But I printed them out. I've been saving them. And let's take a look here. The problem is we've played enough weeks now that it's gotten big, so I need 2 sheets together. But as far as totals go, Champagne Room is still in the lead. Now, I will say this, that Live Wire 713 took over first place in week 7 and bumped, actually, Champagne Room moved down to 3rd place, and it was who am I looking at here? I think it's Balls of Slapping actually came in 2nd place this week.
Yeah, I believe he did. Yeah. So, yeah, but some points were made by some different people, so that's cool.
We got a guest coming in, but we got no audio video feed. So if you're watching us, the only reason I haven't added it yet is because, and you probably can tell yourself, I don't know, maybe you might have to go down that settings tab and add your camera. Maybe we'll give him a minute there. But anyway, keep an eye on that. Can you see that too, Bart? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, well, he faded in, he faded out. Okay, so with that being said, I mentioned, so still the top ones are Live Wire, Champagne Room, Wavy Creature, this Classic Rocking, and then Balls of Slapping. And they're your well, I guess I should keep going. Vasteleleline. He's local. I need to call him up and just say, hey, how do I pronounce it? And then, believe it or not, this is what I was trying to tell people. My wife, Mrs. G. Parker, scored a 2nd place in 1 week. I'm trying to look here. Yeah, I think she scored a 2nd place in 1 week. I'm going to have to do a better job of taping these together. But anyway, make lines around. But she's up there in the top. Your scores run from 23 to 9, and then there's a bunch of 7s, and then there's basically everybody that played every week 7. So any score below that is for people who didn't show up every week. So that goes to show you the importance of showing up every week, because Cheryl, my wife, showed up every week and then placed in just one tournament, and now she's definitely guaranteed to be in the finals.
Yeah. Yeah, she's right up there with some of the others. Basically tied for 4th, right?
That is correct. First, second, third, yes, basically tied for 4th.
And then you got 5th, 6th, 7th, and then the rest of us are tied for 8th that have played every week.
Correct.
And of course, just to clarify for people, we keep saying the rest of us, but Greg and I aren't really in this thing to win anything. We're just playing to play. But we'll see. It's still fun to play and see where we can. I'm still trying to get in those top 3s, but they're just not happening.
I see the finals, and again, if anybody's concerned about the finals, first of all, I hope you're not concerned about it, because this is for fun. Other than the first place prize gets a $25 gift card, I promised, and a trophy. And everybody that plays gets a chance for a $25 gift card. But I think, but as far as figuring out these finals, we've got some ideas in our head, but we will probably, again, we're here every Sunday night. And Bart, we probably really ought to get together, put our heads together, and try to work out how we're going to announce how we're going to run these final, how we're going to run the playoffs. So we didn't know how many people were going to be in this thing and stick with us. And I mean, if you don't want to bear with me for just a second, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's over 30 people. So I'd call this a definite success. Yeah. And our guest, if you're watching, we hope you come back. But he's probably watching. But hopefully you can get your connection or something going there, because he had the link. Obviously, I'm going to check my messages. Think of something to dazzle the audience with here while I see if he sent me a message here.
Okay. Well, let me go through while you're doing that. Let me. Looks like he's trying to pop in again. Let's see who we got in the chat here. Of course, Arcade Chaos is in here. Kelly Huff is in here. Keith over VKQ Interest in Adventures. He's in here.
And that guy.
Oh.
What's up, guys?
How's it going, buddy?
DV, what's up, Ed? How you doing, buddy?
All right, good to see you guys. Things are going well. Thanks, Bart.
Excellent.
Busy as always.
Did you pop in here so you can teach us how to play this Tesla table? Because we're struggling.
I've never played that one. I have it, but I've never played it.
Really? Yeah.
Were you watching from the beginning?
No, I just hopped in. in.
Because your ears must have been burning. Because the last topic we had, we were talking about the new table, Tesla, and how much trouble we had. And we said the world would be a much better place if that Digital Victory guy did a video on every table known to man. He needs to get to working.
You're right. I'll get on it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a tough table to figure out. Well, I'm sure if you do it the way you do it and look at the rules and then actually learn how the table works, it might be easier.
That's step one. Hey, let me tell you though, if you saw my recent video for Bond, the 60th anniversary limited edition that RDO2 put out, it's an awesome table, and I have not figured out all the rules yet. So even when you're talking to the guy that created the table, it's hard to figure out everything, and it's just the way it is. And some of those FX tables and FX3 tables, boy, the rules are pages long, 10, 12 pages. So it's a tough slog sometimes.
Yeah. Well, usually though, you can play a table a couple of 3 times and you kind of get an idea. Yeah. I am still flipping blind. I'm just like,
what am I doing here?
I don't feel like I can get a rhythm and figure out exactly what I'm doing, other than, I was telling Greg earlier, it's drain friendly. You're not getting drains that aren't fair, but you'll play for 20 minutes and you got, 200,000 points. You're like, what? I just played forever.
Well, quick question. Is there a skill shot? I don't even see a skill shot. It didn't even list the skill shot on the DMD, is there?
It's on the launch thing. It does the where it curls around, and it's got the 3 different holes.
Yeah.
And the middle one says skill shot on it, but I can't tell. Everything I've done goes in the first hole. I don't know how to get it to that second hole. But it easy. Poe's laughing on his ride to work. But I don't know how to get it to it. I don't know. It's weird, and I don't know if my cabinet's glitching when the ball goes over there, because sometimes I can't see where it's going. But I've never got the skill shot, but that I know of. But that's where it is. If you look on the launch, it curls the ball around. There's 3 holes, and the second one has skill shot written on it. So I guess that's the goal, but
Sounds like you're more observant than I am.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it, but that's how it is.
You know, Arcade Chaos set up a tournament just recently for Skyrim. What was the other one?
Chaos went there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did those tables, and he's got another one set up. But I didn't. I don't even know which tables they are because I was working, so I didn't get a chance to jump on it.
But those have, when you're playing those tables, there are a lot of things that the call outs or the screen will tell you. You know, like there's one call out and one of them says, watch out for the dragon's flames. Well, you'll see flames up to certain ramps. Well, it's kind of a reverse deal. Sometimes you shoot for the lit ramps. Well, this you shoot for the ones that aren't on fire.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of telling you what to do. But that Tesla, I don't, like you said, no clue.
Yeah, I'm just having trouble figuring it out on the fly. So maybe I'm going to have to break down and read the rules. But it's still fun because anytime you can play and you don't feel like you're getting cheap drains, at least you're having fun. But
that is half the battle. Amen.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've been working on my nudging skills because I found that the last table we did, what was the one we just finished? Back to the Future. It seemed like the draining out that left out lane, I could avoid a lot of drains if when I saw it bobbling around over there, just tap that left nudge button. You've got, I think, virtual nudge on your machine, but I've got just buttons hooked up to simulate a nudge, and it was working for me anyway.
That is a weakness in my game for sure, because I watch guys, because when I study a table to learn the rules to do a tutorial, I look at other videos of people playing the table and I see what they're doing. And there's some guys that are really good at exactly what you're saying, Greg. The ball starts going towards the side lane and they pop and it just pops away. And I'm just like an idiot. I sit and watch it. Oh, I lost it down the side again. I should have nudged it. Right. I did that a lot. That's a definite weakness in my game for sure.
I call it, though, I give it this saying, sometimes I zigged when I should have zagged. I'll right nudge when I should have left nudged, and I left nudge when I should have right nudged. And maybe I better just quit doing that because sometimes I make it worse.
The center nudge, to me, the center nudge is, I think, the most valuable. But on the Legends pinball, it's the most inaccessible version because it's one of the front buttons. And I think the idea is supposed to use your hip. But I sit in a stool when I play, so that's not really an option.
Right.
But I was thinking I saw a video where a guy hooked up a pedal up to it. And he put the pedal right in the front of the machine because it's a lot bigger and a lot easier to pop with his hip. It still wouldn't solve my problem being sitting in a stool, but I could put it on the floor. Just tap it with my foot every time I want to do a front nudge. And I think that would be a little, especially on those side ones, you give it a plop forward and, you know, those the slingshots, you know, would hit it and knock the ball up and away, I would presume. So in a perfect world, I'd have that set up, but I don't yet.
Chaos is saying he's got a Biolab tournament set up if anybody wants to look for it.
I love the look of that table, Arcade Chaos. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Great colors.
That one, other than hitting it up in the little deal and trying to create the little dudes, there are other things in that game. I'm not sure exactly what I'm shooting for also, but it's an awesome looking game. And it's fun. I just don't know what I'm doing there either.
Well, before we get sidetracked, let me just real quick go over a couple of things I didn't want to forget while we're early in the stream before people start leaving, if they do decide to leave. We're on Tesla. We've got Wild West Rampage next Sunday, the 19th, 3 balls, unlimited attempts. And then we all voted last week on the show to go with March 26th, the final week. Creature of the Black Lagoon, 1 ball, 1 attempt. So that's going to finish out the season. So you're going to have 1 ball, 1 attempt. And stay tuned for the channel because Bart and I may, first of all, we're going to be announcing and having to get with the people that are going to move ahead as far as the instructions on how they're going to get into the playoffs because the password's going to change. Everything's going to change. We'll get the rules set on that. We'll do that here on Bart's channel or my channel. So just wanted to make sure people were aware of that. And the only other announcement I had to make is I have got set up right now. If anybody wants to have some fun on FX, We're not doing these ongoing pinballs on tournaments on FX. Not enough people own them yet. But if you happen to have Adam's Family, I just set one up today. I think it's only running for 3 days on Pinball FX. And you need to know that code. It's X3DQ. And I'll put it in the chat here. It's X. If you know anything about that, it's X3. What did I say? It was DQ. You have to, it's the only way you can find a tournament, especially for cross-platforming. Because Poe set one up, and I couldn't find it on my Epic because he set up on PlayStation. Unless you couldn't even search by his name. But I just put that in the password's G Parker, all lowercase. So that's all I had to as far as announcements. Now we can just go.
Yeah, and Mr. Poe Style, like you said, Poe put up a tournament also, and he did a video for it. So if you go to Mr. Poe Style's channel, he has a video on there where he set up his tournament, and he played a fantastic game of the Addams Family, to which he just laughed so hard, and he said, "You know what? I'm leaving it. It was the worst game you could ever play." He said, "I'm just, this video is staying like it is." And then, of course, I responded by making a short video where I beat him with my plunge by just getting the skill shot, and I beat his whole score. But Addams Family can be a brutal game too. That one can be very unforgiving. But
Addams Family, that is a beloved game by so many people, but it never caught on to me. I never really got it. I can't figure out the appeal.
I'm going to put in the chat, I'm going to put a link to Mr. Poe Style's video on that. And there you go, folks. So if you want to check out Poe's video, and he's got that tournament set up, and in the comments or in the description of that video is the password and the code you need to get in there. So.
Yeah, and he plays on the PlayStation 5. So if people are curious to see what it looks like on the PS5, Mr. Poe Style's making his videos on the PS5. Where Greg and I, when we make FX videos, we're playing on Epic on our cabinets. So, yeah, but it's pretty neat. It's I agree with you though, Digital Victory, that I like the theme of the Addams Family because it's the Addams Family, but I have a hard time getting into it because, boy, if for every game you have a pretty good game, you'll have 2 or 3 where it's just drain, and there's no ball save, and you're like, it's tough, and it's easy to get frustrated and then not want to come back if you're doing
a few tables like that.
Yeah.
I just put in the chat as well a link. I think I'd put me and Bart in here, but I think y'all should know where our channels are. You're either watching it on my channel or his. But there's a link to
cool. Thanks, guys.
Digital Victory there. So if you want to catch Ed's show and his videos, he's got some great stuff. Can't say enough about him. Good content.
Well, let me take this opportunity for a shameless plug then and tell you about my new one I'm working on. I don't know if you saw it or not, but on DP Universe, the website, somebody came out with a new version of the Harlem Globetrotters. Another beloved old solid state table. And this new version is beautiful. It utilizes all the latest physics and just plays really nice. So I'm going to redo that. I did a tutorial on that a year and a half ago, one of my early videos I ever did. And it's kind of showing its age a bit. So I'm going to redo it. So I'm doing a redo of that one. I'm going to do a tutorial and play through and try and beat that score, which I did was pretty good. 689,000, I think it was. So I'm going to try and beat that one. And I did a unique intro just this morning because we play basketball on Sunday mornings, my son and our friends and I. And I just had a buddy tape me dribbling the ball and say, "Hey, I got a new video for Harlem Globetrotters, because it's basketball day and I want to do this video for Harlem Globetrotters. Join me right here, right now at Digital Victory." Turn around and swish. I'll leave it up to you guys to figure out how many takes it took. Because it did happen the first time for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say more than one was going to be my guess, but well, that's awesome though. Yeah, that is a fun
5.
table.
It was 5. Yeah.
That is a fun table though. I have the older version. I didn't know they had a new one out. I'll have to go look for that.
Yeah, it just came out with a new one. That kind of like what you talked about though. You can get 2 or 3 games in a row where it's just because it's pretty wide gap in the middle. But that's typical of those older games, as you know. But you deal with it.
I just threw this up here, Chaos. I didn't mean to jump on you, Bart. You usually handle it, but I saw that. I thought it was a good question by Chaos that our guest, Digital Victory, could maybe answer. Maybe some people watching don't know what we mean when we're talking about rules. So I think the best person to answer that question is the guy who talks about rules.
Okay. Yeah, it is a good question because just this morning when I did that, my buddy that filmed it, we got there early and I thought of it and I said, "Hey, do this, film this." And he's like, "Pinball? What do you mean?" I said, "Oh yeah, I explained the rules and stuff." He goes, "Well, they have rules?" So perfect example of that. Yeah, every table has its own set of rules, and they call it code. They call it rules. You can stay alive a long time and just hit a bunch of targets and score points, and that's fine. And a lot of people play that way, and that's great. You can score a lot more points though if you do know the rules and you hit the particular targets you need to do at certain times, and that comes with knowing the rules. If you have a bank of targets over here, if you hit those all in a row, it'll open up this gate over here, and you can hit it in there, and it'll lock a ball, and you lock 2 more balls through that gate. Now you got a multi-ball. But if you didn't know that, you can miss out on the multi-ball, and then while you're in the multi-ball, of course, if you hit this lane, it's a jackpot, but that also lights up this lane, which is super jackpot. So hit that jackpot, and then immediately hit the next one, and boom, 5 million points, things like that. Those are the rules. Again, the game can be played without it, but when you do know it, it's a shortcut to scoring a lot more points.
Yeah, because there may be time. I mean, I've played a table I've never played before, didn't know the rules, and all of a sudden I hit a jackpot or I've hit a multi-ball. Well, then the next time I play, I can't hit it. Well, that's the time to start figuring out what the rules are, so you know how and why and when you can how you can get a multi-ball.
Right. And, that's one of the distinctions that a lot of the designers have is some people design really cool tables with very unique and very cool, fun sets of rules. Other ones don't. We're talking about Tesla. Well, that's it. Maybe that's because the rules are shitty. I don't know. But some can be too complicated as well. And that's certainly a thing that we run across. And I don't like that either. There's a happy medium, of course. But I do have a soft spot for the old solid state and EM games because the rules are very simple.
See and this goes through with real pinballs too, because my Stranger Things, for example.
Oh yeah,
it's got a book this thick on the rules, and just the first move. And I have not got through all the modes yet, but like there's 2 bump targets you got to hit to light the ball lock. You got to hit these 2 at the end of a ramp. You got to hit both of them. Now, sometimes you can hit a shot and it'll hit both with one shot. Well, then that opens up the ball lock. Then you got to get up the ramp 3 times and it locks a ball. And then you go into multi-ball. Once you've completed a multi-ball, you got to hit those bumps and lock a ball. But then you got to hit the next multi-ball. You got to hit those bumps again. First time you just hit the bumps once.
Yeah.
And it starts to lock. Next multi-ball, you got to hit the bumps, lock a ball, then it starts all over again. You got to hit the bumps, then lock a ball. So it's twice.
Right.
And it continues to build from there. But every time you do it, you go from 3-ball multi-ball to a 5-ball multi-ball to the maximum, which is 6 in the machine. Wow. So once your score gets up there and you get on your 3rd multi-ball, which is where I got that one high score that's on that machine, it was throwing, it was chaos. It was chaos like you, chaos. It was chaos. The whole machine was chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All I can think of with the, getting back to the Tesla table and the rules, maybe they designed the rule set that you have to have Nikola Tesla's intelligence level to figure out the game.
Exactly.
They made it so complex, you have to have Tesla himself explain the table to you.
Maybe he went forward in time and wrote the rules himself.
He did.
That's the possibility.
Actually, I sent an email off to Elon Musk this morning. to see if he might have an idea.
He might.
Yeah.
I'm making a note here right now, which I do all the time when I think of potential videos to do for the channel. I'm going to make it the 5 favorite rule sets.
Oh, there you go.
That's where I just show the tables with easy, okay? Because those are my favorites, are the easy ones, rule sets. And then maybe I can do a video later, or maybe the same video. I'll do my 5 least favorite rule sets. That might be an interesting video.
Now I'm going to ask the 2 years. Here's a question I got. These are the one I was talking about. Of course, the digital games that we're playing obviously have them. My Stranger Things has them, but I'm trying to think if your earlier solid state tables like my Stingray, do those have rule sets as well?
Absolutely, but the difference in those old solid state tables is they don't carry over from ball to ball. Okay, and the more modern ones, once they became, and maybe some of the later solid states may, but early on, that was the difficulty of the older tables, is they could have pretty unsophisticated rule sets, but rule sets. For instance, Elton John, Captain Fantastic, when you hit a certain things, it drops down a gate so that if you go down to the right out lane, you don't lose the ball. It sends it to the plunger lane. Okay, there's a rule set. But they don't carry over from ball to ball. So this Bond table I just did, it's pretty cool because when you're trying to get the villains lit up, you got to knock out these 5 lights. Well, if you knock out 3 of them and lose the ball, the next ball, you still only have to knock out those 2. So those older tables didn't do that. They didn't carry over from ball to ball because of the limited sophistication of the electronics.
I don't know if you saw Mr. Livewire said it's got to be a table with theme we can get into. Indiana Jones is an adventure that he could be one of his favorites. Yeah, one of the reasons I love the Stranger Things table that we got was because my wife and I were really into the series. As a matter of fact, we owned it when the last season came out, and we actually got a little miniature TV. Bart will tell you, he's been up here. I got a little miniature TV that scrolls all the seasons, all the episodes of Stranger Things, and I've got the Stranger Things poster in there. So the arcade room down there is kind of around the theme of the pinball machine. And it's funny because our first choice of pinball was Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's a long story that I shared a long time ago. But I had a problem obtaining the Guardians of the Galaxy machine, and at the time I said I'll settle for Stranger Things, and I wouldn't throw a rock across the road to get a Guardians of the Galaxy after owning this one.
Yeah, that is one of the best themed games ever, and I agree with you. You nailed it, Livewire, about the themes. That's one of the, I don't know if you could read that right there, but that's one of the subjects I had planned to do a video on, is some of my favorite themes. And nice. Indiana Jones is on that list. So, amen. I hear you. That is one of my favorites. Love it.
Does Prince have a machine?
Nah. No, I saw Michael Jackson one once, and there's Queen and all the rock ones, but pinball's it's more of a rock-oriented hobby. So it is what it is.
Now, I put this one up from Chaos because talking about themes, and he says a fad he'd like to see take place would be turning retro arcade games into themed pinballs. And since all 3 of us own At Games products, that kind of leads into At Games and the Taito, how do you say it? They have a bunch of tables themed off of retro arcade games, and but you have to have At Game to play.
They do, but the problem is Taito games kind of stunk compared to the Midways and the the more popular ones. But
unless you like the old style. Yeah. I always figured, now I didn't play them myself. I just watched some videos on them. And it seems like if you like those old retro, like the Zaccaria tables, the retro tables from that, you might like these Taito tables better. But if you're expecting it to be like, Indiana Jones or one of those more modern tables, you're not getting that. But
you're not getting the FX quality, but Bart and I have proved that the Zac tables, I just call them Zaccaria or whatever, They do have some cool features, especially I love that dual player online. Ed, were you with us when we were talking about that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That is just a blast.
I love it. They have the greatest options set also on the PC. Boy,
Yeah.
the options on the PC versions of Zachariah tables, you can, the room, the lighting, the table, you can get a table that looks old and worn in, or you can just click a button and have a modern, you can change the lighting from LED to incandescent. I mean, it's absolutely nuts, the options they have on the Zachariah tables on the PC. Fantastic.
And Magic Pixel, and that now I'll lead into this. Magic Pixel is the one that did the Zach tables, and they're also the ones that did the Tato. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bart. Aren't
And
they
the
the
Grinch
ones that
stuff.
yeah. So they're the ones that did the creating of it. So
Right.
Hollywood Polo, played Aerosmith Pro VAPX. Yes, I have played Aerosmith. Yes, and that is a fun table.
That's the new one that just came out on VP Universe. I just saw that. I haven't played it yet, but I downloaded it, but haven't even unzipped it yet.
The only rock band one I've ever been disappointed in, and the soundtrack to it was good, and I'm talking about real pinball. Down at the pinball place that I go to that's locally, they've got a bunch of them. And he had when he first got it, I love Led Zeppelin. I've always loved their music, and I just gravitated to it. And he said he was going to sell it, and I just thought, man, I might be getting another machine. And I played the machine, and the soundtrack was great, but I'm telling you what, the machine just left me dead. There was nothing. Some of them are overcrowded. This one didn't have anything on it. It was like just this big open field. I don't know, it just did not.
Is that the one with the black and gold kind of theme?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I did a video about rock pinball tables a while back, about a year ago, I think. And that was one of them that I highlighted. And I was blown away when I first loaded it and started playing it, mainly because the soundtrack and the nostalgia of it. I talked about one of my older brothers being a big Led Zeppelin fan. And having gone back and played it a lot, I agree with you 100%. The actual mechanics of the table, I can't even figure out the rule set yet. Yeah. But the mechanics of it are brutal. It's a drainer, you just drain the ball constantly.
Oh, computer's making noises. I don't know what the hell that was.
Yeah.
So Arcade Chaos. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bart. I've been talking.
No, I was just saying in there. I've never played either one of the. I haven't played the Aerosmith table or the Zeppelin table. But
my favorite rock band one, though, if you're gonna ask me what my favorite one is, and of course every time I play it, I can't play it online for you guys because every time I play it,
strike.
It gets banned in all countries. And why keep? They don't give me a strike, but they give me a claim, and they said it won't be allowed to be played anywhere. So what's the sense of keeping it up? And that's AC/DC. But I'm telling you what, it's just, to me, the DMD in the background and the video scores that they put, at least on the VPX version, with the what do you call it, putt pack?
Yeah.
Oh my God! It's just, I mean, man, you just feel it. You feel it.
That is a great one, and the recent one that just got on VP Universe, I think it was yesterday, Iron Maiden, Legacy of the Beast. They just redid that. This came out basically. They came out a few months ago with one. It was pretty cool, but they came out with a new one and updated the putt pack and some of the physics and stuff. And I have not played that because I think it was just yesterday, but I can tell you it's going to be great because I played the one they came out with several months ago, and it was incredible. And they got Eddie and all the cool videos, and just, man, it's the theme of it and the music is wonderful. I love it. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
that's all right long.
That's what I was going to say is the Maiden table. That's the one, and I didn't even know they redid it. But and of course now that Hollywood Polo is pointing out that the new Foo Fighters table just hit.
That's right, in real life, right? Yeah,
the real table. I've seen some videos on that, but I haven't got a chance to play it. But
Polo, I'd love to get another pinball table, but I'll tell you what, right over here is the arcade room. And if I put anything else in there, that wall is going to have to be knocked out. Bart will tell you, he's been here. And he was shocked because, you know, when you take a picture of something, I've gone out there and done video of it, it looks like a big room. Everything in there is packed into the net's ass, mic'd in there just perfect. And there is room for nothing else.
Yeah.
And I refuse to get rid of my 77 Stingray. And I'm telling you, I just don't think I'm going to get bored with that Stranger Things. There's so many things with that, and the way the black lights come on, and the shaker motor, and everything. I've got it. I don't know. It's addicting.
Kelly's throwing out tips, Greg. You need a plunger for that skill shot. It's definitely gettable, which means she's probably got it, and us knuckleheads can't get it. But yeah.
That's the way. That's our story, Bart. Our wives, when we got together, and Bart and I just went and sat in the corner and cried like two little. I guess I can say it. We were just two little bitches. We said, "Hey, women are beating us. Leave us alone."
Yeah, it was the same deal when Kelly and I went to that pinball arcade in El Paso that time. She's always saying that, "Oh, you're better at pinball." The only table we played that I beat her at was the Willy Wonka table. Every other table we played, she beat me. But yeah. So then I said, "Well, let's go over to the Donkey Kong machine and we'll see what's happening." And she didn't want to do that. But 50,000 points, she says, for that skill shot. Well, maybe I did get it once then, because one launch I did end up with 50,000 points. Maybe I got it on accident. That's probably the only way I'm going to get it.
So I got to ask Ed, because I know about Bart. I just don't. I know you've answered this before. It's my age.
I do not have a Willy Wonka.
Have you played any FX? Have you played any? Do you play any of the new FX?
Yes, I've gotten some of the tables that are new to FX that were not on FX3. I got the Soldiers, the Brothers in Arms, was it? That I saw Off Grid play, and some of the others that I haven't really played much yet, but absolutely. Star Wars action figure one is my favorite so far, though.
My favorite one on there as far as Star Wars, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think this is available on the FX3, is the Mandalorian.
I haven't played that one yet.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I like that one. I like the call-outs. I like the whole table. It's a fun table.
Yeah.
And like you, I've only bought the one table I bought that was available on FX. I did it by accident with the ticket thing, back on the ticket thing, but it was available on FX. But mainly I've just bought the ones that are new releases.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't want to double dip. You know, it's not like they're $40 each or something, but still, money's money. So.
Yeah. I don't think the Mandalorian was on FX3, but it is on the Quest headset. If you had got the Star Wars pack on the Quest and want to play in VR, the Mandalorian table is on there. That's pretty cool because then Mando's standing right next to the table while you're playing.
You told me about that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But
it is awesome. Hey, can I show you guys something on my screen? Can I share something?
Absolutely.
All right. Before I do, Hollywood Polo, favorite Prince song you asked me. She's Always in My Hair. Look that up and listen to it. Extended version's better. It's about 7-8 minutes, but it's worth it. All right. So I'm going to share something real quick here. And just because the subject that we were talking about, the different tables, this is some of the reviews, and I'm not going to play the whole video, but just a couple clips here. The AC/DC machine you talked about, Greg, and also the Iron Maiden. So
right.
Deep in Workshop. Let's go.
There you go.
How awesome is this? Basically, good as it gets, man.
Multi-ball.
Crap, this is amazing.
Oh man.
All right, jumping ahead to Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Look at the DMD, the pump pack.
Nice.
That's freaking awesome.
Absolutely amazing is the fact that I can suck at multi-ball in non-realistic physics and realistic physics.
Perfect. Perfect.
That was a clip from my recent video, not my recent one, but about a month and a half, 3 months ago, something like that, where I watched the rock and roll videos, and man, it was great. Just wonderful.
Yeah. The only problem with those putt pack tables is when you're playing, you can't watch the putt pack because it'll distract you, and then you drain you because you're watching the putt pack.
They're great for doing my videos and great when I have buddies over. My brother and sisters come over. We check it out and it looks cool while you're playing. But you're right, exactly right. If I'm doing something for points and I'm doing my tutorials, I turn it off generally. Not always, but generally.
You talk about a distracting putt pack. My son, they're in town. And we were down playing the other day. The ladies were gone. They took the kids. And I turned on probably one of the best putt packs for distraction. Baywatch.
Oh, no. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Chandler and Joey sitting there. Come on. Girls running on the beach.
Well, that's like that. The Friday the 13th table. If you're not careful on that, I did a video on that table, and I had to put. I use solar panels because I'm off grid, but I had to put solar panels on the putt pack because it's Friday the 13th. There's topless girls on the putt pack. So if Mr. Postile tried to play that game, he'd never make it through. He'd be draining his balls in more way than one. Well, I mean,
you've been saving that all night, haven't you?
We didn't give her. We haven't given our shout outs. First of all, we're giving a shout out to Arcade Chaos, one of our good friends. Of course, we've got Digital Victory here and Bart and myself, but then we can't forget to mention Mike CB's Gaming Headquarters, a.k.a. the Gaming Road Warrior, who is not with us tonight, but he's been with us. And then, like I say, I always say this, what was it, Red Skelton used to say something that, Mr. Postile, wherever you are, God bless you. Mr. Postile is East Coaster, and it's I don't know what the hell with this time savings. I don't know. What is it, 4 a.m? It is where he lives now or something.
Yeah. And he's got to get up. I think he gets up at like 3:45 or something to go to head off to work. It's crazy. I don't know, something like that. Earlier than I'd want to get up, but yeah.
Hell, at my age, you get up that all that time anyway. Every few hours you get up during the night. Can't help it.
Right.
Go back to bed though.
Right. But yeah. Anyway, so we've covered quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah, I think we've covered quite a bit.
From Tesla to topless chicks. I mean, everything in between.
to whether or not Mr. Postile needs to take a pill before he plays some of those games. I don't know. Well, listen, I'll tell you what, we're going on an hour mark. I hope you guys will stick around for a few minutes in the green room afterwards, but I'm going to pass it around for final thoughts. I'm going to let, unless somebody's got something big they want to bring up, I'll pass it around to Ed and Digital Victory and let's give some thoughts.
Just thanks for sending me the link today. I appreciate it. I enjoy jumping in here, having a chat with you guys. It's been a while. Keep an eye out for the Harlem Globetrotters video coming up probably in about 2-3 days.
Sounds good. Thank you. We just love having you show up. I'll send you the invite until you tell me to quit, and you're welcome to come and go as you please because we enjoy having you on the show. So,
awesome.
And I do urge everybody to check out his channel. You know, there's no selfless plugs in here. I think it's all good that we spread the word around amongst us, our friends, and get the information out. So, thank you, Ed. Thanks for showing up tonight. Bart, any final?
Oh no, just I'm digging how the tournament's going. Tesla, don't give up on Tesla the first time you play it. Use up those unlimited tries because it's going to take that many to learn it. And I also highly recommend checking out Ed's channel. Like I always say, if you want to see how to play a table poorly, watch me and Greg. If you want to see how to play it right, watch Ed on the Digital Victory channel. Really good stuff. Always good. And I'm looking forward to the next one. But yeah.
Yeah, his are always fun to watch. Well, the only thing I'll say is thanks everybody for the participation in the tournament. 30 plus people in the tournament so far. I think we've been having a good time. It's been a blast. Every Sunday since this has happened, Bart's been a part of this. I'm going to make an invitation for him to continue on doing this with me afterwards. I'm hoping it's something we can work out to continue. Maybe Bart and I can come up with, we may do another tournament, not right away, but we may do another one. And we, maybe can come up with some pinball thoughts. And as often as we can have Digital Victory on, maybe we can start kind of having a regular basis, pinball talk, whatever. If you got questions, if you want to drop us a line, we're happy to do it. What is that chair next to you? What is that chair next to you? Oh.
Howdy doody.
Yeah, he's got to be. I guess everybody ought to see it. This, actually, he wanted to stay behind the scenes tonight, but say hello, Mr. Postile. Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Postile.
Poe did make it.
No, I'll give you a little hit, just quick history. I said we were going to go, but I am 66 years old, and I was given this when I was 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
So he's a 60-year-old dummy. And he's broken, and he needs to be fixed and stuff. I dug him out of storage, and I couldn't believe what I found out what it cost to replace him new. I don't know what my folks probably gave back in the 1960s for this, but wow. I found out to replace him brand new is going to be about $500 or $600.
Woo.
Wow!
I mean, they make them, but not this one. The eyes move. This is his, but I mean, his mouth doesn't work. But so there's your answer to your question, Kelly. There's my.
That's fantastic.
And I've actually on my Facebook page, I've got an app that makes him sing and his mouth move, and I've actually got him playing the ukulele and sings a little song to everybody. And the only last thing I'll say about him is I had him in the other bedroom in here. And when the kids came to stay in the bedroom, they asked me to take him out because he was freaking out the grandson. I think his sister told him, he'll come to life in the middle of the night and cut your throat.
Oh, lovely.
That was a terror, but I think she told, sisters, how they can be to their little brothers. She was messing with him. He says, she said he could do things to me. I said, I'll take him out of there.
That's funny.
Anyway, that's it, folks. Unless anybody else got anything, I'll put him back to rest here and without him falling over. And hopefully he won't bother anybody tonight. He is creepy, isn't he? All right, thanks, everybody. Unless you guys got anything else, say goodnight. Say goodnight, Bart.
Good night, Bart.
Good to see you guys tonight.
See y'all later. Take care. Next Sunday, 10 p.m. Central. We'll see you then.
Right here.